very optimistic for the Bucks tonight, especially with the young players and everybody else that's working into the mix here. Because, as I mentioned, we've seen the Bucks fall victim to this. Every team does, where it's tough to get up for those games. When you look across the floor and you see the two biggest stars are not playing, and you know this is the last game. This is what separates you between the All-Star break. So we'll take a closer look at this matchup tonight. There are some injuries for the Minnesota Timberwolves. One of those names who's on the injury report at least is Anthony Edwards, who has been on an absolute tear of late. So we'll preview the matchup in greater detail and get you set for tip-off coming up after this on Buck Shoot-Around.
As an independent tire and service center, our loyalty is to you, not the manufacturer.
It's the tire manufacturer's goal to design a superior tire.
But it's our job to ensure the right tires are properly installed on your vehicle.
A service our family has been independently providing for the past 2 generations. So make no mistake about it, our loyalty is to you.
And the dozens of tire brands we carry, like Goodyear, General, and Pirelli,
or Continental, Kelly, and Dunlop, well, that's for you too.
Because we won't know what type of tire you need until you get here.
So instead, we carry them all.
Because we install them all.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free flat tire repair.
Which means you're 100% covered.
No questions asked.
I guess you could call it family tradition.
Be safe, buckle up, and hey.
Always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlawns. Your
due for service.
Richlawns Tire and Service. Such a refreshing change. Richlawns.
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest lies the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. Journey through 90 years of history in the timbered stone structure. It's gorgeous. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 days a week. An amazing deal at an amazing place. Choice steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, even the steak and lobster, any entree, your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds desserts, and I love those, and huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons on their bourbon list, over 100 fine wines, 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Take your family to the Fox and Hounds this week. Half your dinners are free. I love this place. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
Now, more of Buck Shoot-Around on WTMJ.
Final game before the All-Star break tonight for the Bucks. They're in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. As we mentioned moments ago, no Damian Lillard and no Giannis in this game tonight. As, again, we knew coming into this week that Giannis was not going to play in any of these games leading into the break. But Damian Lillard, more interesting there because I guess first and foremost, we saw a slight change to the injury report earlier today where Dame was probable, and later in the day, earlier this afternoon, downgraded to questionable. That kind of gave you the sense, okay, it's the last game before the break. He's gone from probable to questionable. I don't think we're going to see Damian Lillard in this game tonight, and that is indeed the case. But the other reason for that is, Doc has talked about this a little bit as well, trying to manage the workload and the minutes for Damian Lillard. And it's especially difficult, and it's compounded even more in games without Giannis, because when he's taking on heavy minutes, his role is much different as well. He's expected to carry the offense, but with the trade that sent Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards, and by the way, there's a good chance, we mentioned next week the Bucks open up their post-All-Star break schedule Thursday against the Clippers. Their second game is Friday night in Washington, D.C. I believe that's the Wizards' first game out of the break. There's an excellent chance that is Chris Middleton's Washington Wizards debut, and it will come against the Milwaukee Bucks. The team has kept him away. The Wizards have kept him away from the team since the trade, and just allowing him to kind of gather himself and get acclimated to Washington, D.C. and adjust from the trade. So let's keep that on the radar. But the Damian Lillard point, the minutes have gone up quite a bit. He played 39 minutes against the Warriors. He played 44 minutes against the 76ers. And you look at overall what Damian Lillard has been averaging so far this season. And granted, we heard from Dame in the offseason all the work that he put in on his body, working out with David Goggins and putting in that work, the Navy SEAL workouts that he was doing, and said, didn't say the best shape, but stopped just short of saying the best shape. In great shape coming into this season was Dame. So I think we do have to keep that in mind, but he's 34 years old. The minutes are starting to pick up. I think part of this, too, is, look, we just want to get you some time here. Because to finish that previous point, when you traded Chris Middleton and when Giannis isn't playing, the Bucks are still, I guess you could say, struggling to find that secondary initiator, ball handler, distributor, point guard, for lack of a better phrase here. Kevin Porter Jr. has joined the team. Doc Rivers said this before the Warriors game. Yeah, he's not a true point guard. Ryan Rollins is not a true point guard. We think both those guys can take their share of running the offense, and especially Kevin Porter Jr. and what Doc Rivers had to say about him. But we noticed it earlier in the season in the Miami Heat game, where it was basically Dame carrying everything. The first half that he had, the shot making that he was putting on display, the minutes that he was off the floor, is when the Bucks offense kind of got stuck in mud and ran into problems. In the second half, the Heat started trapping Dame and just saying, we got to get the ball out of his hands. It's got to be somebody other than Damian Lillard that beats us here. And it might not have been quite as extreme as we saw in the second half of that Heat game, but you were starting to see similar things these past few games without Giannis. It's just a lot, especially with no Chris Middleton, because, for as much of a punchline as it had become of Chris Middleton's ball handling and the turnovers, the fact remains Chris Middleton was essentially your backup point guard last season. He was the guy that was stuck with the second unit. I don't mean like a bad thing stuck with, but he was the guy that was out there with the second unit, running the offense, getting people set, initiating things. Saw it, stretches this year as well. And especially once he returned, obviously, with some of the struggles we saw from DeLon Wright, that Chris Middleton was that guy that was stepping into that role. So he's gone. Giannis, clearly another guy that can do that, is gone. And it just puts so much more on Damian Lillard, compounded by the minutes that he's been playing, not only recently, but season as a whole as well. I mean, he's averaging nearly 2 more minutes per game this season than he did last year, his first with the Bucks. His minutes per game this season are the highest it has been since the 2019-20 season. 5 full years ago for a 34-year-old player. He wasn't 30 the last time he was logging these amounts of minutes. And again, he put in the work and talked about the shape he was going to put himself in, the fact that he was never really physically at that level last year when he talked about detailing at the season's end the work he wasn't able to put in because of the pending trade and all that hanging over his head. So you get that point in the work that he put in, but it's still a number you'd like to see come down. The trouble is the Bucks just have to find who that other guy is that can alleviate some of that from Damian Lillard. And tonight's a great opportunity for that because, as we mentioned, Kevin Porter Jr., we saw him make his Bucks debut Monday night against the Golden State Warriors. And Ryan Rollins is still on the team. Ryan Rollins coming up close to the end of his two-way availability. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there if we see him upgraded. But those two guys figured to be the first two to get a crack at it. Can one of these guys really take it and run with it? And you're going to get a good look at that tonight. I would assume one of those two guys is starting at point guard for the Bucks as they get set to head into the trade deadline. All-Star break here this weekend, wrapping up play tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll take a closer look at that Timberwolves team. They have a couple of injuries of note, but we mentioned Anthony Edwards was on the injury report. He has been on an absolute tear of late. He was also on the injury report. He is expected to play tonight. We'll tell you the other names that are out for the Timberwolves and preview tonight's matchup after this on Bucks Shoot Around.
So how would I describe our people? I'd say the people we set out to hire have to be smart, hardworking, and honest. Honesty being paramount of the three. Because honesty breeds integrity. And when you have integrity, you won't let yourself do anything less than your best. And that's who we're looking for. Character counts here, and integrity matters. And that's why it's easy for us to offer the industry's best lifetime workmanship warranty with every roof we sell. A rock-solid warranty like ours guarantees our reputation and assures your satisfaction. At Semper Fi, we do the right thing. We seize the moral high ground, and we hold it. And when you do that, you end up having a business that's going to last for generations. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Hey Milwaukee, it's Josh Albrecht here.
And I'm also Josh Albrecht. Join us every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. on 620 WTMJ for Joshin' Around Milwaukee.
We're diving into the best of what makes this city great. Local events, hidden gems, and of course, everything Milwaukee.
It's your inside look at what's happening around town, places to visit, people to meet, and stories you won't want to miss.
Catch us every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. right here on 620 WTMJ and find extended episodes and content on visitmilwaukee.org. Let's get Joshin' Around.
Two Joshes are better than one.
Come see Pal at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show February 14th through the 16th. Learn about our incredible design team with an ability to customize windows to match your unique home. Pal Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is now offering windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Rest easy with our 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and a Pella Care inspection. Visit PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
You're listening to Bucks Shoot Around on WTMJ.
Getting set for tip-off in Minnesota tonight. The Bucks and the Timberwolves, the final game before the All-Star break. Again, no Giannis, no Damian Lillard either. So a very short-handed Bucks team, and this does figure to be a prime opportunity to get a look at some of the newly acquired players, notably Kevin Porter Jr., who made his Bucks debut Monday against the Warriors. Extended looks for Ryan Rollins. Who knows? Brook Lopez not listed on the injury report, but maybe we see some play from Jericho Sims, who I know Doc Rivers has been asked about a couple of times, and it does seem as though Jericho Sims, we get this all the time. Last year, it was definitely Andre Jackson Jr. Earlier this season, it became not only Ajax, but Ryan Rollins. In the past, it's been Dante DiVincenzo. Ironically enough, a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves now, but he is out of tonight's contest. You always get these young guys that it seems like the vast majority of Bucks fans latch onto and are ready to gas up and make into something big. And Jericho Sims, just reading the tea leaves, has become that guy on social media for Bucks fans. And look, there's a lot to like about his game and his physical traits that he brings, which is frankly something the Bucks currently lack in that position. I think many Bucks fans remember a couple moments he's had against the Bucks in games with the New York Knicks, and Doc Rivers has been asked about it a couple of times. Maybe for the same reason, maybe some of the reporters as well have kind of adopted Jericho Sims as their guy, but also because, as we mentioned, we've seen Kyle Kuzma. We've now seen Kevin Porter Jr. We've yet to see Jericho Sims. And as Doc Rivers has pointed out, we're going to see him. We're looking for the right spots. We still have Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis out there. We just acquired Kyle Kuzma, who we view as a big and can play at the 4. So we're still looking for the spots to put Jericho Sims in, but we're going to play him. Maybe tonight is a night to get a look at him. But I mentioned the Minnesota Timberwolves injury report. Dante DiVincenzo is going to miss this game tonight. Julius Randle, who came over to the Timberwolves along with Dante DiVincenzo in the trade that sent Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks, thankfully to the Knicks and not the Timberwolves because of the games that he has played against the Bucks this season, the performances he's had, I should say, against the Bucks. And Mike Conley is also going to miss tonight's matchup. But one player that was listed on the injury report who will play or is expected to play in this game is Anthony Edwards, who leads the league in three-pointers made this season and has now scored 40 points in 3 consecutive games. 49 against the against the Chicago Bulls, 41 against the Rockets, and 44 in the loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he's continuing a torrid pace here, an all-star, and as we mentioned, the league leader in three-pointers made. And he's been in his comfort zone of late. So if the Bucks can slow him down, that'll certainly go a long way in ensuring success for the Bucks tonight in Minneapolis. But it should be a fun one, and it frankly should be an interesting one with those two big names out in Giannis and Damian Lillard. Be interesting to see the extended minutes for some of the young guys and some of the lineups that the Bucks can continue to cobble together here, especially in some of those spots in the front court. Possibly Jericho Sims. So should be an interesting one tonight as we get set for the All-Star break. The Bucks in Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Pregame comes your way momentarily. As a reminder, stick around after the game for Bucks Talk as we get you set for the All-Star break. But the call to action comes your way after this.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go